investigating this as 8 separate accidents. Under state law, each skipper is responsible for his own crew's safety. Clearly, not all the boats out there in the storm were racing, but 119 signed up, and ALIA sources confirm all 6 souls lost that day were part of that Dolphin Island race.
It's horrible now. Only thing that counts is your crew's okay.
It's a tough man versus nature story, and everybody is touched by the souls lost here on Mobile Bay. I'm Dave Malkoff, the Weather Channel.
Well, from the Gulf Coast to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, some huge weekend waves pounded a stretch of highway on that May Day storm, and take a look what it left behind.
Yeah, some damage from that coastal storm last week. This is Kitty Hawk. A stretch the length of a football field actually collapsed. Yet another system that could be causing some damage in the southeast this week.
And just like that, the snow is gone. And parkas become jackets. And sweaters go down for a long nap. And off you go. And your backyard gets a whole lot bigger. And you're running and climbing. And your gear gets lighter and trimmer and fitter and smarter. And now every frozen second spent willing this day to come is just a warm, fading memory.
You could sit at your computer and read all about zero-turn mowers. Click, scroll, tweet, or you could just sit on a John Deere Z435 Easy Track and feel its power. You'll know it'll get the job done fast. When it's time to pick a mower, you've got to get on one. Visit your local John Deere dealer for a test drive today. Sign up to take your turn on an Easy Track zero-turn mower at your John Deere dealer and save $100 on your purchase.
All we need to sell Strongbow Hard Cider is ice. And an award for best tasting hard cider.
Have you got the shot yet?
Remember that thing about keeping your face behind the award?
The more you learn about your insurance, the more gaps you may find. Like how you may be covered for this, but not for something like this. Talk to farmers and see what gaps could be hiding in your coverage.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Hey, Hunter, need some pointers?
Just around the house.
Yeah, should do it then.
I love this free store pickup.
Yeah, it's also great when you're on tour. Just order online, we'll have it waiting for you the same day. You know, I bet there's an Ace within a golf swing of just about anywhere.
Really?
Oh, you don't need to...
New mailboxes.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Getting help at Ace is like going to your neighbor.
Drive safely, Hunter.
Thanks again, Mike.
These days, you may be hearing more about data breaches in the news. It's possible your personal information may be at risk. Research shows that if your information is compromised due to a data breach, you are 6 times more likely to become a victim of identity theft. Now is the time to get protection. Sign up today, and LifeLock will begin monitoring your personal information, including your social security number, alert you about suspicious activity, and, if needed, take steps to help restore your losses.
You only have one identity. Protect it with the best. LifeLock.
We could tell you about the years of research and development. How we forged advanced high-strength steel to make the frame stronger yet lighter. The countless hours spent testing the suspension and tuning every sound from the engine to the trunk. But until you get behind the wheel, you have no idea. The completely redesigned Hyundai Sonata.
Where you get your weather matters.
This is a large and dangerous tornado.
Real local.
We are live in Oklahoma, Arkansas.
Real accurate.
This one's going to have some precipitation with it.
Real experts.
Wow, that's the leading edge of the thunderstorm.
This is basically what makes the Weather Channel
Keep the
great.
Weather Channel on. Here at the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel is out in full force today.
Only the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 77 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms, low 73. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, thunderstorms, high 78. Chance of rain, 80%. Tuesday night, scattered thunderstorms, low 70. Chance of rain, 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All you got to do is show us something that's amazing out there. We love to see your pictures. Every picture you share, we'll try to share it as well right here on AMHQ.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. I'm Samantha Moore alongside Keith Carson tonight. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. And we have severe storms to talk about. Plus, something we need to keep a close eye on in the coming days. A lot of mystery in the Atlantic, as we call it. Sounds like a Danielle Steele novel, doesn't it?
It does. And it really has us on the edge of our seats because we want to know how it's going to impact the southeast. And here is what we have to talk about tonight. Besides that, strong storms firing up in the central U.S. Texas has been a hot spot already tonight. We did have a tornado warning earlier, and we have some flood concerns here as well this evening with a lot of heavy rain in parts of Kansas.
We do. And then there's the mystery in the Atlantic. It's a system that could turn into a subtropical or tropical storm in the coming days. We don't really know. That's why it's a mystery. In the coming days, this is something we're going to watch because it's a month ahead of Atlantic hurricane season.
That's right. And in the Northeast, temperatures as much as 20 degrees above average. But that welcomed warmth is bringing a dangerous side effect this evening. Something we need to watch.
All right, we'll talk about that first. New pictures in from Kansas. This picture was taken in the town of Manhattan. And National Weather Service, 3 feet of water on some roadways. The guy looks kind of comfortable in it, to be honest with you.
He looks like he's enjoying it. It's refreshing.
He's trying out for his JCPenney photo shoot. But there are some big water problems there. Let's go over to the lab with Mike Bettis. He's tracking these storms.
Yeah, flooding is just one of the issues we'll be dealing with this evening. A large hail. We got lightning out there, and we've had some brief tornado warnings that have been issued with some of the storms, especially down through Texas. So let's get to it and show you what's happening currently. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch. It does include portions of Kansas, and yes, it does include Manhattan, where that gentleman was, up toward Kansas City as well. So in St. Joseph, you'll be included in that. And you've had some pretty strong storms this evening. Storms actually extend all the way over into Indiana, by the way, north of Indianapolis. But the heavy stuff that's putting down some training, meaning that storms are just basically occurring over the same locations over and over and over, causing some flooding. So Gary, Potawatomi, and Riley counties all under flash flood warnings, and Manhattan, as you notice, is right in the middle of that. We'll get right down into the heart of that, and you can see multiple times we've had severe storms come right over top of us here. Junction City, you've had some very heavy rain, but our flash flood warning goes until 8 o'clock. There's a look at the estimated Doppler radar rainfall here. Accumulation over the last 3 hours, about 3 inches. So any place that's low-lying, or maybe we have poor drainage, you're going to have some issues with some flooding. And obviously with the pictures, it's proof that we've got some flooding. All right, back down through Texas. A lot of storms here around Lubbock, over into New Mexico, Roswell, Clovis, right back down toward Pecos. And one tornado warning here outside of Balmorhea. And you can see north of I-10, maybe a little bit of a hook echo on the southern edge of that, right in there. Pecos County, you're under a tornado warning right now. Maybe a little couplet or a tornado vortex signature right in there. We've got the red and the green right next to each other, indicating some rotation. There's a live look at Balmorhea right now. It doesn't look, at least in that picture, like we've got a whole lot going on right now, but the camera may not exactly be pointed right at the base of the storm. Nonetheless, please take shelter right now with a tornado threat that could be imminent. That storm's just been hovering just to the north of I-10 this evening. So here's a look at the computer modeling of the atmosphere for the remainder of the evening. Storms could flare once the sun sets, even with that flow that comes in off the Gulf of Mexico. Low-level moisture, not an issue whatsoever. Even tomorrow morning, a place like Midland, 7 o'clock in the morning, when you're headed out for work or putting the kids on the bus, could really be storming. But later into the week, another low pulls out, dry line setting up midweek and late week, and even the weekend, we've got storm threats here. There's a look at Wednesday's threat from Nebraska all the way down through Texas. So a large area for the middle of the week, and our highest Torcon numbers of the week are on Wednesday. Central Nebraska and Kansas, so Grand Island, Salina, Wichita, Central Oklahoma, that includes us on Wednesday, Torcon of 5. Oklahoma City, a 50% chance of tornadoes, and then Central Texas with a 4 or 40% chance of tornadoes. So things get very, very active for the remainder of the week. Sam and Keith.
All right, thanks, Mike. Well, when you look at the numbers, this severe season actually has been on the quiet side.
So far, but on average, May is the peak month for damaging storms in the central U.S. Meteorologist Chris Warren explains.
Joplin, Missouri.
It is a devastating scene. It's just the images go on forever, it seems like.
Moore, Oklahoma.
A rumbling in the ground that just turns your stomach.
Greensburg, Kansas.
We're trying to find a jewelry box that she lost right now.
Not to forget El Reno, Parkersburg, and more. Recently, some of the strongest and most destructive tornadoes have occurred in May, and the largest outbreaks.
May is the prime time for tornadoes for the U.S., with 277 on average over the past 20 years when we've had a stable database.
But we know tornadoes can and do happen in any month. So why is May so special?
May becomes very active because it basically has all the ingredients for a large number of states. In particular, the dry line, that's the west edge of the Gulf of Mexico moisture, becomes very active where it clashes with drier southwest air coming in, and that collision fires up thunderstorms day after day. We have the instability. The warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico can spread all the way from the Gulf of Mexico to the Canadian border at times. And at the same time, we still have the jet stream that's active across the central part of the U.S., and that is fueling the potential for those thunderstorms to rotate, to become supercell thunderstorms that produce tornadoes.
And when we say threat, it's interesting to look at just what that means when it comes to tornadoes. In the month of May, the probability of a tornado is 5 to 6 times more in some states than that of the rest of the country. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren, the Weather Channel.
Okay, well, from severe storms to a system in the Atlantic, and that could mean a lot of trouble for the southeast coast.
All right, let's go to our senior hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross. Brian, we love you, but whenever we see you, it's normally not a good sign.
Well, we'll see what happens with this. This is really an undefined issue here. It's possible that this system moves to the north up toward the Carolinas and just kind of dies out and makes the weather kind of a little lousy. It's also possible that it actually develops into something significant. So we've got a number of days to look at this. It's just not going to move very far, very fast. Okay, let's go ahead to the satellite picture here because this tells the immediate story. You see this dip in the jet stream here is pulling the moisture to the north. We have this old front down to the south mixed in, so the combination of those things is causing very heavy rain to continue on that part of the world, and that's slowly going to move to the north and slowly become more organized. So here's the thinking for right now with the model. Notice that the winds are coming in here from the east-northeast around the front. But then tomorrow, watch what happens as this warm surge kind of gets pushed to the north by the jet stream here. The winds start to kink like this. And so that kink is the beginning of low pressure forming in here over the southern Bahamas. And with this moisture being pushed in off the Atlantic and the upper level moisture coming up from the south and this front in the area of South Florida, possibility tomorrow of some pretty heavy rain. It really is impossible to say whether the heaviest rain is just going to be confined to the Bahamas with some stray rain over Florida, or with that front in the area, is there going to be enough of the conditions and combinations to make it rain harder. But just be ready for the possibility of some pretty heavy rain in Florida, but nothing threatening here really. All right, now the warm front moves to the north, and finally we get enough organization that low pressure forms right now. Now this low is just a garden variety low pressure. It's not any tropical thing or subtropical thing or anything, just the way low pressure forms in the wintertime all over the country. So this is more of a spring-winter kind of system. But as it moves on Thursday and kind of just drifts out there, does it have an opportunity to organize some and start maybe transitioning with some tropical characteristics? In other words, start organizing itself and having the thunderstorms organize around the center in some sort of broad way. It's a maybe on Thursday. And then now both of our models, the two main models, are both indicating that the upper level winds that are strong on Thursday will kind of let up on Friday as the system has kind of floats around out there near the Gulf Stream. So at the end of the week is really a big question mark. Right now, no models are making it real strong, but they go back and forth because they don't have a good handle on it. It hasn't even formed yet. All right, lots more tomorrow. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brian. We have a new tornado warning to tell people about.
We do. It's in New Mexico, actually. A tornado warning out there with some rotation of possibility, moving off to the north and east.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms, low 73. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, thunderstorms, high 78. Chance of rain, 80%. Tuesday night, scattered thunderstorms, low 70. Chance of rain, 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Now with a full line of independent rear suspension options, the Foreman, Rubicon, and Rancher automatic DCT models are equally ready to work and have fun. Part of the growing ATV family from Honda. Now get low fixed financing rates plus up to $500 in bonus bucks during the Honda Dream Garage sales event.
The latest Dyson cordless vacuums generate more suction than all other stick vacuums to clean your entire home, top to bottom.
I've got plans, and this is my baby right now. So it's just not the right time to get pregnant. That's why I chose Skyla. Skyla is the small, flexible IUD that prevents pregnancy for up to 3 years. So for me, there are no daily pills or monthly refills. I got my Skyla placed in just a few minutes at my OBGYN's office. And if I want to try to get pregnant, I can get it removed whenever I want.
If you have a pelvic infection, get infections easily, or have certain cancers, don't use Skyla. Less than 1% of users get a serious infection called PID. If you have persistent pelvic or stomach pain, or if Skyla comes out, tell your doctor. Skyla may attach or go through the uterus and cause other problems. Pregnancy while using Skyla is uncommon, but can be life-threatening and may result in loss of pregnancy or fertility. Ovarian cysts may occur, but usually disappear. Bleeding and spotting may increase in the first 3 to 6 months and remain irregular. Periods over time usually become shorter, lighter, or may stop. Skyla does not protect against HIV or STDs.
Talk to your OBGYN about making the move to Skyla.
Check with your insurance to find out if you can get Skyla at no cost.
Doers. They don't worry if something's possible. They just do it. At Sears Optical, we're committed to bringing them eyewear that works as hard as they do. Right now, save up to $200 on eyeglasses. Quality eyewear for doers. Sears Optical.
1 can of Bush's beans. Well, this is a predicament. Home style sounds good, but country style not without its charms. Brown sugar hickory? Who says no to hickory? Not this guy. New sweet heat? Sure. There are no rules here. No rules on aisle 4.
Our new sweet heat is cooked according to our secret family recipe with a sweet and spicy chili sauce.
Did you get a can of Bush's beans?
Yes, I did.
Bush's Beans. What's your favorite flavor?
Constant Contact makes it easier than ever to connect with customers using all the best email marketing tools, like online promotions and email newsletters, so you can help your small business do more business. Try email marketing free at ConstantContact.com.
Well, the Northeast has been enjoying temperatures well above average, but that has meant increased fire danger. This brush fire broke out in Pemberton, New Jersey earlier today, and officials say they were able to contain it to a 4-acre area. So that is the good news, and there were no injuries reported as a result of this fire. But you can see we have red flag warnings still hoisted here across much of New Jersey, stretching on across central New York, east of Syracuse, and then on up towards Bangor. And that's just because the humidity is so low here. Let's take a look at some of the relative humidity in the forecast. You can see how low it is in New York City right now, 33%, 32% in Worcester. It goes up overnight. That's a natural thing. As the temperatures cool down, we end up seeing that relative humidity rise a bit. So we'll see the relative humidity up around 94% in Syracuse overnight. The winds, though, that's the other factor here. It's very dry during the afternoon, very warm, and then these gusty winds, 25 to 30 in New York City this evening. Overnight, they'll quell a little bit, but then they will ramp up again tomorrow. So we're just going to have to watch this closely, because with the temperatures still on the unseasonably warm side, we could have some issues with fire danger once again. Chance of thunderstorms as we head through tomorrow. It won't be a real soaker, though, and then we'll see more in the way of rising temperatures towards the end of the week. So those fire dangers are one issue we've been watching, but Keith, there's something entirely different we're keeping our eye on in the Atlantic right now.
Yeah, you're right about that, Samantha. The system that's still getting its act together in the Atlantic has caught the eye of the hurricane hunters. They've planned a mission for later this week, and the timing couldn't be any better, as they're currently on tour educating the public about what it is that they do. Reagan Medji caught up with them earlier today in Atlantic City.
After nearly 25 years, the NOAA Hurricane Awareness Tour is back visiting Atlantic City. What's very special about this particular tour is that for the first time, these two aircraft are touring together in all 6 spots on the East Coast. And why now? Well, June 1st is the official start to hurricane season. This tour allows the public to go into the U.S. Air Force Reserve WC-130J Hurricane Hunter aircraft. There are a total of 10 of these. Its goal is to fly through the storm, gathering data. The other aircraft, NOAA's G4 jet. This aircraft flies around and ahead of the storm. We spoke to pilots of both aircraft about the importance of what they do.
There's only one way to get the vital data that the weather person needs, and it's to safely get in and to get out. My role is to safely accomplish that.
I think it's a personal ownership of the mission from my and my crew point of view. We understand people's lives will be affected and people are in danger. We can mitigate that risk as much as possible. We take great pride in that.
Both aircraft duties combined help forecasters. Dr. Rick Knabb, the director of the National Hurricane Center, explains the other important reason for this tour: getting prepared.
Why do you need to prepare in advance? Think about supplies and insurance and evacuations and strengthening your home. All 4 of those things are harder to do, if not impossible to do, once the hurricane is on your doorstep and the warnings are out.
The tour goes until Friday, and to get a list of where the tour stops are, just head to hurricanes.gov. In Atlantic City, Reagan Medji, the Weather Channel.
Reagan, some pictures coming in from Manhattan, Kansas, that is. Flooding, we're seeing reports up to 3 feet of water. It definitely looks like it in some of the roadways there. Cars stuck in the water, and we try to remind you, you don't even want to try to drive through that. But people continue to do it. So that big time rain there, that's been one of the bigger threats tonight. All right, let's talk about what's going to go on tomorrow in your 7-day forecast. Severe weather is still going to be something we're going to be watching. A relatively smaller area across parts of Texas. Meanwhile, what we can't see on this map is the developing coastal low, hybrid, whatever it's going to be out there. That'll be going on Wednesday as well. But Wednesday's our biggest severe weather day. Scale of threat and also the chances of a tornado are highest on Wednesday this week. So we'll watch that in the usual suspect zones. This time of the year in May, the Plains strike zone for sure for that severe weather. As we head into Thursday, now we've got another chance of severe weather, probably lower tornado chances on Thursday. Dr. Forbes will continue to tweak that for you. And then this shows the first impacts here, the possibility of that coastal low right here. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what's going to come on shore. We're doing the best we can, but something will be out there, on Thursday, maybe across parts of the southeast coast. Meanwhile, nice places like Boston, New York, York, upper 70s. Boston hit 80 today for the first time since mid-October, before you even thought about what you're going to be for Halloween. It's the first time they've hit 80 through all that winter, that awful winter, and back around. Friday's showers and storms across the middle part of the country again. Increased severe weather threat a possibility here on Saturday. This will be a different system digging on in and giving us a chance of some severe again in the plains, maybe a little bit in through parts of the Midwest as well. Should stay real warm though with southwest flow. Atlanta 88 degrees, going to be a long summer. 80 in New York. And as we head into Sunday, still warm across the east, showers in the Midwest. We'll be right back.
At WeatherTech, we never stop inventing ways to keep your vehicle protected. From floor liners and cargo liners to dozens of other world-class quality products, including no-drill mud flaps and bump step. Nothing is better for your car, truck, or SUV than WeatherTech for your family, the whole family. Go to WeatherTech.com to find the ultimate vehicle protection, along with a full line of automotive accessories. Nothing protects like WeatherTech.
We know you can't control the weather. That's looking good. So we build things to harness it. That's awesome.
They hit the water, game on.
Up here in Southeast Alaska, Coast Guard's the last line up the fence.
This is about how far you can push yourself.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms, low 73. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, thunderstorms, high 78. Chance of rain, 80%. Tuesday night, scattered thunderstorms, low 70. Chance of rain, 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Stain. The seal you can trust, with stain and sealer in one, and easy to choose colors. Exceptional beauty and protection have never been easier. Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Stain. Available at the Home Depot.
It's a beautiful day to use Thompson's Water Seal.
My budget was always second-guessing me when I'd buy stuff for the family. Fingerhut. 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 At Fingerhut.com, we can shop with low monthly payments, over 200,000 items and growing from brands like Samsung, Lego, and KitchenAid. Just click on over to Fingerhut.com to get the credit you deserve and great stuff for your family. Oh, not Fingerhut. I got that at a garage sale for $1.
What should I do with my money? Whether you're a multi-million-dollar investor or just starting out, the answer is Betterment. Betterment is the smarter way to invest and is the largest automated investing service in the U.S. If you're building wealth or preparing for retirement, we provide a personalized recommended asset allocation, and your money is put to work in a globally diversified portfolio. Experience smarter investing and secure your financial future. Betterment. Investing made better.
The 306 horsepower Lexus GS. Experience the next level of performance, and there's no going back. Lease the 2015 GS 350F Sport with complimentary navigation system for these terms. See your Lexus dealer.
I avoided steps.
I hated pickle jars.
Then my pharmacist recommended Capsaicin HP for arthritis.
Capsaicin quickly blocks pain at the nerve level for hours.
The more I use it, the better I feel.
Capsaicin HP. Take the pain out of arthritis.
If you struggle with back pain, you have the power to turn it off with this.
Smart Relief from Icy Hot. Turn on relaxing pulses that quickly block even chronic back pain. It's wireless, reusable, and easy to use.
Turn on Smart Relief and turn off pain.
Mom and Dad told us they had just made their funeral and burial prearrangements. We thought they already had taken care of that. When we learned it was through Beth Israel and Eternal Light, we knew everything would be handled in the most caring and professional way. we realized it will be one of the most difficult days of our lives. It inspired my husband and me to make our own prearrangements so the burden wouldn't fall on our children when that day comes. It's not an easy thing to think about, but I'm so glad we did.
All you got to do is show us something that's amazing out there. We love to see your pictures. Every picture you share, we'll try to share it as well right here on AMHQ.
Well, it's the biggest event this side of the Catalina wine mixer. It is Fleet Week. You're looking at Florida's Port Everglades, where Navy ships have been pulling in all day. Beautiful shot there as well. Arrival of the sailors and Marines marks the beginning of the 25th year for the event. More than 2,000 military members are expected for the festivities. Time now to go to the lab and take a look at something else that we're watching down across the south and southeast. Let's go over to Sam and Brian.
Yes, it may get a little wet for the folks attending Fleet Week because we have this mystery system that hasn't formed yet. That's why it's really a mystery, right, Brian?
Well, the thing is that it's really important is, as you say, it's down here somewhere trying to form. And until a low pressure system actually forms, we know exactly where it forms and the models know where it forms. Anything the model says in the future is very subject to change. In fact, that's why it's been all over the place. Every time we get a new model run in, it puts the system at the end of the week in some slightly different place.
And we expect it to form within the next 24 hours or so, correct?
Well, it's beginning now. What's happening here is this dip in the jet stream is out here, and you can see this tremendous amount of tropical moisture now being pulled up, and you have this old front here, which is a trigger. So I wanted to mention that jet stream because that's going to come into play in just a second. But to answer your question, is it starting to form? Well, it's barely starting to form. This is tomorrow afternoon. Here's a model depiction, but look at it. There's the kink in the winds, and that's really the beginning of low pressure. So if you were to measure the pressure, you would find it's lowest in a line right in there.
Okay, so a little trough starting to form.
Just starting to form, right? But notice what's happening here is we're getting the winds to kind of converge on South Florida here coming in. So that's why if this comes together like this, there's a decent chance of some pretty good rain. Now, the models are kind of backing off on the amount of rain and putting most of it over here over the Bahamas. So we'll see. Because it hasn't come together, again, the forecasts are not as good as they would be if it was a very organized system. All right, there you see there. So we're going to watch here, especially from Fort Lauderdale south, for the possibility of some pretty heavy rain there tomorrow. Okay, now let's look into Wednesday. And now here it comes to the north. Now, the current model run has it way offshore of Cape Canaveral. The previous one had it over here. Again, I think the odds are probably equal of those two places, right? But it makes a bit of difference in the direction of the wind here and how much moisture ends up over the state, exactly where the low sets up and how strong it is.
Right. If it's a little further away, we could end up getting more rain moving in.
We could, because if it's close, it ends up pulling drier air down over the state, especially if it's fairly strong. But if it stays weak, there's just more moisture. It doesn't get consolidated around the low. There's more moisture around, so the rain would tend to want to continue over Florida. But anyway, all that's pretty straightforward, and we're pretty confident that's going to happen. This is where it gets tricky into Thursday. The current models, both of the models that we look at, the European and the GFS, both put the low out here and keep the jet stream over top of it. Same jet stream. It's really very, it's just not moving out of the way very much. And that's kind of unfavorable for much development. And indeed, the models keep it fairly weak. But if the jet stream were to be a little bit off or a little bit different, there could be an opportunity to strengthen, and it's close to this Carolina coast up here, so that's why we're just getting a little concerned starting on Thursday and uncertain and a little mysterious beginning on Thursday.
Right. Now, if the jet stream stayed further inland, then that would definitely impact the
Right,
path.
and then, if you have lighter winds aloft, it has an opportunity. But both models put it in essentially the same place on Thursday, and then on Friday, they both kind of drifted around out here. Just kind of just doesn't really go anywhere. It just sits out in that area out there somewhere south of the Carolinas. So we're going to have to just keep an eye on it, and neither of them make it especially strong. But again, our confidence in what they're saying at this point is really low until the system develops.
Okay, we're waiting for that moment to happen. Thank you so much, Brian. Keith?
All right, suspense, good for ratings if nothing else. Brand new video coming in from Kansas. This is in Manhattan, Kansas. Kansas State is reporting that most of the campus is flooded and the roads are actually impassable. They're asking people to avoid the area. Roughly 4 inches of rain have fallen in this area in a short period of time, and that is why we're having some problems. That's a story we're going to continue to watch for you. Also, we do still have the possibility of some isolated tornadoes through the rest of tonight and some big hail. Those are some of the bigger things we're watching. Let's talk also about a solar flare caught on camera. If we could check that out. The eruption occurred 2 weeks ago over a 6-hour period. Amazing images there coming into us from NASA's Solar Observatory. And the Acapulco shoreline, usually visually pleasing, golden shores. But look at this time-lapse video of the waves rushing up and exceeding in a hypnotic wave pattern. I heard rappers like Hypnotic. I think that's an alcohol. Anyways, we'll be right back with one more thing to tell you about.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms, low 73. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, thunderstorms, high 78. Chance of rain, 80%. Tuesday night, scattered thunderstorms, low 70. Chance of rain, 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back. We do have some severe weather we're watching across the middle part of the country and through Texas and New Mexico actually is the hot spot through today, and some tornado warnings. We're going to keep you updated on that through the evening. Most of those not in highly populated areas. Tomorrow, we're getting this area that we're watching across mainly Texas, a little bit into western parts of Oklahoma. A chance of tornado, not high though. We think it's more about some winds and some hail possibility. Torcon numbers here to show you. Coming in at 3, Texas and Oklahoma panhandles here. Again, North Texas being the biggest spot, and then 3 in southeast Colorado and southwest parts of Kansas. We think our tornado threat though ramps up on Wednesday and almost exactly where you'd paint it as a typical tornado spot in May, right down across the plains into Oklahoma and central parts of Texas. At that point, our torcons are much higher than we've seen over the past couple of days. You're going to have a torcon of 5 for central Nebraska and Kansas, and some other torcons in the 4 or 5 range down across central Oklahoma. So we'll be watching Wednesday. Dr. Forbes will actually be up in a few minutes. Keep you updated in the severe right now.
Unbelievable sci-fi surf.
We all just kind of took it in. It was really amazing.
And supersized electric displays.
Amazing spider lightning crawling across the sky.
From mystery lights in the sky.
Oh my God, oh my God.
I hit the ball.
Oh, this is unbelievable, man.
To close encounters with a cloud like no other.
They kind of extend out away from the thunderstorm. It's kind of like a monster coming out of the clouds.
Welcome to the wild world of weather, where you'll see nature go nuts. Extraordinary events stranger than anything Hollywood can dream up. We discover how and why these crazy conditions happen.
Whoa, great. Woo!
You won't believe your eyes. This is the strangest weather on Earth. Oceanside, California, September 2011. Do not attempt to adjust your TV set. These waves really are glowing in the dark. Surfers rush to make the most of the spectacular swells. And walking on the wet sand causes amazing flashes of color. This luminous light show is a bizarre result of the weather. Local resident Logan Call recalls filming the amazing event.
We had my camera and tripod, and we just really set up right here. There was people on the pier kind of lined up. We all just kind of took it in. It was really amazing.
To find out what's causing this astonishing effect, we have to rewind. During the day, beachgoers spot a huge red slick on the otherwise indigo ocean waters. But this is no oil spill. In fact, it's 100% natural, and it's been brought on by the weather. Steve Haddock, from Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, knows what it is that lurks in the deep.
Red tides are a phenomenon where a bunch of microscopic, usually single-celled organisms will all reproduce.
These creatures, known as dinoflagellates, can appear in massive blooms, creating huge red patches in the water.
Blooms happen pretty much every year to some extent. There'll be a bloom, but depending on the weather conditions leading up to that, you can have a different intensity.
As strong winds blow across the sea, it causes circulation of nutrients and dinoflagellates from deeper waters. Sunshine then warms the seas, triggering a bloom. As night falls, the dinoflagellates show their true colors. Like many ocean-dwelling creatures, they have bioluminescent properties. A chemical reaction means they can glow a bright blue in the dark. It's triggered when the dinoflagellates are disturbed in the water, making something as simple as walking on the wet beach into walking on an alien world. John Huth, particle physicist at Harvard University, recreates the effect. He fills a tank with thousands of the tiny dinoflagellates and has rigged up an ingenious way to create agitation in the water.
So what we have here is a segmented fishing lure that imitates exactly how a fish swims.
When the line is pulled, the lure surges through the water, disturbing the dinoflagellates. With the lights off,
ready?
The result is stunning. An electric flash of bioluminescence shoots along the tank. While throwing rocks into the ocean is one way of getting a reaction, some people trigger bioluminescence in style. San Diego surfer Joel Puckett knows these waves like the back of his hand. And when the perfect weather conditions create this phenomenon, he knows it's too good an opportunity to miss.
Surfing the bioluminescence waves, it's cool when every time you take a paddle stroke, it lights up. And shake up the water, it lights up, and you get a little glow off of it.
We started getting some excellent footage, and we kind of just started watching almost as much as we were filming.
It's pretty cool looking. It's like Tron surfing. The bloom in this video is probably the best I've ever seen it, and I've talked to a lot of people, and it's the best they've ever seen it too. That was probably the thickest and brightest it's ever been.
If you happen to be on a California beach after a bout of heavy winds, wait for nightfall. You may be in line to see a display like this. Lake Nahuel Huapi, Argentina, June 2011. This is a case of weird weather, creating even weirder water. The 200 square mile freshwater lake looks like it's been filled with tons of wet concrete. But how on earth could this turn into this? The mystery substance has come from further away than you could guess, because it was blown here on the wind.